welcome to the daily English news program on Azərbaycan Television, with your host İlham with most important events of the day. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Aliyev, has been interviewed by the Italian Rai 1 TV channel. On October 26, President İlham Aliyev addressed the Azerbaijani people.
Noting that the Second Karabakh War has been going on for almost a month now, and this was a patriotic war, President İlham Aliyev said that the glorious Azerbaijani army liberated many settlements from the enemy. We are restoring historical justice on the battlefield because Nagorno-Karabakh is historically the Azerbaijani land. President İlham Aliyev listed with specific facts the non-constructive position of some organizations in connection with the conflict. He said that as a result of consistent activity in recent years, we were able to sufficiently inform the world community about the history of Karabakh, about the history of the conflict, and today this work helps us. The other side noted specific facts in connection with the historical belonging of Karabakh to Azerbaijan, said that Armenians were resettled to the lands of our ancestors. The goal was clear, to change the religious composition in the new territories of the empire, expel Muslims from their native lands, expel and create a new reality. Speaking about the date of the beginning of the conflict, the head of state noted that the Armenians understood well that the great authority of the great leader Heydar Aliyev and the Soviet leadership broke all their plans. It was after the departure of the nationwide leader from all posts that the Armenian separatists revolted almost 2 weeks later. In his address, President İlham Aliyev spoke about the creation of the Minsk Group, the legal settlement of Armenia in the occupied lands, the arming of Armenia, stressing that the factor of power has come to the forefront in the world over the past few years. The other side noted that the mediators must be neutral. If they're not neutral, then they cannot be mediators. President İlham Aliyev said that we're not against negotiations. We want to have meaningful negotiations that will speed up the resolution of the conflict. As for the future of the Armenians who were resettled in the lands of our ancestors 200 years ago, I said that they also are our citizens. They should also get rid of this junta, the other side said, and added that no force will turn us from our past. President İlham Aliyev spoke about the successes achieved on the battlefield, made public part of the list of destroyed and taken as trophies of Armenia's military equipment. Then, President İlham Aliyev announced the liberation from occupation of several villages of Zangilan, Cebrail and Gubadli regions and the city of Gubadli. We liberate these lands at the expense of the life and blood of our soldiers and officers, said the head of state, and noted that we will drive the enemy from our territories to the end. Karabakh is ours, Karabakh is Azerbaijan.
President İlham Aliyev also tweeted the good news on his Twitter account. The post states, "Victorious armed forces of Azerbaijan have liberated from occupation Birinci Əlibəyli, İkinci Əlibəyli, Rebent, Yenikent villages of Zangilan, Qolşudlu, Sofulu, Daxmaşanlı, Kürdlər, Hovuslu, İnçəlibellər villages of Cebrail, Padar, Efendilər, Yusifbeyli, Çaytumaz, Xanlıq, Sarı Yataq, and Malaburtan villages of Gubadli and Gubadli city. Long live Azerbaijan Armed Forces, Karabakh is Azerbaijan." According to the press service of the President, Commander-in-Chief, President İlham Aliyev congratulated commanders of the Joint Military Corps, Yaşar Həsənov and Zaur Guliyev, who distinguished themselves in the liberation of the city of Gubadli and several villages of Gubadli district from occupiers. The head of state wished them new successes in the battles for the motherland. President İlham Aliyev instructed them to convey his congratulations and gratitude to the entire military personnel. Despite the announcement of a new humanitarian ceasefire regime since October 26 at 8 a.m., the Armenian armed forces again grossly violated the agreement reached. According to the Defense Ministry, on October 26 at 8:05 a.m., the armed forces of Armenia violated the new humanitarian ceasefire regime and from the direction of the Lachin city, subjected to artillery fire the units of the Azerbaijan army located in the Safiyan village of Lachin district. The Armenian armed forces violating the new humanitarian ceasefire regime subjected to fire Tartar city and the villages of the district, as well as the villages of Agdam district. According to another report of the Defense Ministry, despite the announcement of a new humanitarian ceasefire regime, the Armenian armed forces are firing on our residential settlements and the positions of the units of the Azerbaijan army along the entire front, as well as on the Armenia-Azerbaijan state border, using various types of small arms, mortars and howitzers. Since the morning hours, the enemy has fired on the territories of Tovuz, Gədəbəy and Daşkəsən districts of Azerbaijan from the Berd, Çəmbərək and Vardanis regions of Armenia. At the same time, the position of the units located in Tərtər, Ağdam, Füzuli, Laçin and Qubadli directions are also under the enemy fire. At present, the territories of Tovuz and Daşkəsən districts of Azerbaijan are being fired by the enemy from the territories of Berd and Vardanis districts of Armenia. At the same time, Azerbaijani residential settlements, as well as the positions of the units of the Azerbaijan army in the Füzuli and Ağdam directions, are also under the enemy fire. The Armenian armed forces subjected to fire the territory of Rojabadi district to artillery fire. Overall, starting from September 27th, more than 15 shells have been dropped on Tərtər region. Let's watch the footage. The Armenian Defense Ministry has released a photo with the Armenian Defense Minister with Armenian soldiers. The fact that the military uniform of a barefoot Armenian soldier sitting next to the Armenian Defense Minister in the photo is identical to the military uniform of the State Border Service of the Republic of Azerbaijan has raised serious doubts. A few minutes later, the press service of the Armenian Defense Ministry deleted the photos from official accounts. Expressing his opinion regarding this issue, Hikmet Ajiyev, Assistant of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, Head of the Foreign Policy Affairs Department of the Presidential Administration, said that foreign media outlets also cited intelligence information reported on the deployment of PKK terrorists in the occupied Azerbaijani city of Shusha, who were wearing military uniforms by the Azerbaijani armed forces. Quote, "A little earlier, Armenia prepared an amateur video about foreign mercenaries in military uniform of the State Border Service of Azerbaijan. It was presented in such a way that mercenaries were allegedly fighting on the Azerbaijani side. Unfortunately, we must point out that without verification, some reputable media outlets have referred to the false information. The fact that Armenian soldiers in military uniform of the State Border Service of Azerbaijan were sitting next to the Ministry of Defense of Armenia proves the fact that such Bollywood films are being shot under the leadership of the Armenian Defense Ministry." He also pointed out that the staged video of the alleged murder of the Armenian prisoners of war on the territory of Hadrut district is also a fake. Publication of this fake fact by BBC without carrying out serious checks based only on the words of the author of Armenian origin is seriously regrettable. He said, "The leadership of Armenia and the regime of criminal junta have no moral and ethical framework. The Armenian side, dressing PKK terrorists and Armenian soldiers in the military uniform of the Azerbaijani armed forces, can organize their committing war crimes against the civilian Armenian population and then using all propaganda resources will blame Azerbaijan for these actions. And the PKK terrorists killed in combat conditions and dressed in military uniforms of the Azerbaijani armed forces can be passed off as mercenaries, allegedly fighting on the side of Azerbaijan." End of quote. That was all for today. Thank you for being with us and see you next time.